Welcome to LB Network, and I am Dr. Tanya Merriweather Gibson Miller. Listen, and we are so blessed and honored to have our guest on today, Lord Emmanuel Boam. And I would like to just thank WYP Creative Arts Industry, Heidi Hughes, for her role in making this interview happen on today. Now, before we just jump right in, I want to give you just a little background. Lord Boam is he's Ghanaian. He's been declared. They've stated and said it's all in the media. Everything I checked, they say he has been called a transformative political figure in Ghana, and he's currently serving as the NDC Parliamentary Candidate elect for the Pru East constituency. He's a native of Pru East, correct?
Sure.
Yes, and he has humble beginnings. I can attest to that. He and I had a wonderful conversation before we came on. Boehm has risen through the ranks of the political landscape, and he has become a beacon of hope for the marginalized there. Listen, he has a vision of inclusion, governance, social justice, and community development. It has resonated with all of his constituents, and he has secured a critical role in the Ghana political arena. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Pru East. It's situated in the northern part of Bono East region, bordered by the Pru West to the west and Sini East. If I say something wrong when you come on, you can correct me. District to the north, Bono region to the south, and the Savannah region to the east. The people of Pru East are primarily farmers. That's so amazing. I came from a background like that, with many engaged in subsistence and rice. I think I said that right. They grow maize, yam, and rice.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Some also engage in livestock farming, fishing, and trading. I am so excited and so elated. I just can't even state it to you enough how honored I feel that you are on today with us just to share some with us. Is there anything you'd like to say before we jump into the questions?
Sure. Let me give you my sincere appreciation for this
Okay.
opportunity, and
Okay.
I'm so happy to be with you, Dr. Tonia,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. And then to my dear sis, Hedy Hills,
Mm-hmm.
for the role she's played so far. She's been
Mm-hmm.
an amazing support, and I really admire all that she's done for me. I'm so grateful. And
Mm-hmm.
welcome to the many viewers with across my constituency who are happy to see me live with you for this
Mm-hmm.
interview. I'm so grateful. I'm so
Yes.
grateful. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lord Bourne. I've just had just a few minutes just to make his acquaintance. And I want you to know, guys, I'm country, so everything I say a lot of times sounds country. But I want you guys to know that he is just such a humble person. A lot of times when you get dignitaries or people that are political figures in government and they're at a certain level, a lot of times they're not, they kind of lose that, what I call the human factor, and he's very humble, very easy to talk to. And so I'm just excited to just jump into this on today. Our first question for you, Lord Boehm, is can you share a specific moment or experience from your childhood that ignited your passion for politics?
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you very much. As I said earlier, I'm happy you hosted me
Hmm.
today. As you said, coming from a humble beginning, from a noble family, born to a family of nine, the
Hmm.
first of
Oh.
nine children.
Hmm.
Yes, and I'm the eldest. So I
Hmm.
have other eight siblings in addition to me. All seven girls, two boys. So myself and another boy.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then
Wow.
seven other siblings who are all girls.
Hmm.
Yes. So it's amazing to have such a family. Growing up,
Hmm.
my thoughts, everything got into politics. but I never knew I was warming myself into politics. And this was because growing up to see the one who is immediately after you, that's your sister, almost dying, because we were far from the only social amenity that is a health center, not even a clinic. It's a health center where some basic health services were given to the people of the community. And these health workers are not resident in the community. They come like periodically. So one night, my sister had convulsion. I don't know how you see, but convulsion basically is worms, let me say infestation of worms, something of that sort. So it was like having to deworm my sister for having dewormed her for some time. So it led to convulsion, and convulsion could easily kill a child.
Yes.
But
Yes.
God being so good, she was rushed on a bicycle, not a motorbike, not a car, not a vehicle. On a bicycle, my dad was riding with my sister on his chest, and riding with only one hand as fast as he could, just so that they could save my sister's life. And this was about over 20 kilometers apart from where we lived.
Whoa. That's a
So I
lot.
asked, yes. So growing up, I asked myself, why would the only facility that could save a life be so distant from where we live? And that is a farming community. We are all most like subsistence farmers. I happen to have my dad a little educated, so he was a teacher teaching kids. So I got that privilege to have also been schooled alongside. So having considered all this, I told my mom, that one day I would rise to save my community. And my mom was recounting this whole incident to me, and I felt like, so I could say all this at that tender age. I could say all that. And she said yes. And she was playing it back to me. And even recently, after I won my primaries, he recounted to the family how
Yes.
I told her I was going to one day help the solutions be brought to the community we find ourselves. So that is something that I felt growing up was quite significant. And having grown, this was my early stages in life, very young. I'm like 2 or 3 years older than my sister, so she's quite young, and
Yeah.
I could experience that with her. But what I find after my college education was how the people of our fisher folks, those who are fishing on our lake,
Yes.
how they were felt, like how they were being treated, how they were going through their daily lives. I find it as quite troubling, because come to think of this, these are the people who go on the lake, fish for the community to get fish for their daily life, like feeding and other things. Yet they are the most poorest of the whole communities we find ourselves. Because on the lake, you cannot set any form of social development, because
Okay.
sometimes the lake overflows its banks and then get them off the place.
Oh,
So
wow.
what I told myself was, why don't we get these people some kind of livelihood that could help them? And basically about their feeding, we are farmers, so most of our staples are farm produce, like maize, like cassava. So
Okay.
you blend them, or you mill them into the cassava dough, the corn dough, and these are basic staple that we have. And these people could, in a way, ride their canoes, not with outboard motors, just paddling the canoes for like 5 miles before they could go and mill their maize, mill their corn or their cassava, before they could return. And sometimes you will see this windy nature of our lake, and some of them, they might be involved in accidents. So I
Wow.
decided to help these people. They are vulnerable. So immediately I won my primaries. In
Wow.
less than a month, I
Mm-hmm.
provided them with a cornmeal just to stop
Wow.
them from having to travel that long distance. So
Mm-hmm.
these are some of the things growing up I saw. And I believe that is what has actually motivated me, that has actually impacted my cycle path
Mm-hmm.
so that I could actually come into the limelight helping my people. So growing
Yes.
up, I had a lot of passion for some of these things, and that has really brought this situation as we see.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's amazing to hear you share, about your childhood and those types of things. And I keep liking, my experience to that. But I grew up in a town in Johns, Alabama, until we moved to Gaston, Alabama, and we were far away from the doctor. And I had epilepsy, so I would have seizures, and as a child. And so I can understand the convulsions and my parents, having to go so far to get us there. It was a disheartening thing for me. I tried to understand as well as a child, how can this be, that we're in this great country and we live so far out, and, the hospital is so far, away. As I got older, of course, and as you got older, you understand that there's a lot of things that go into making it into policy and other things, where those that are disadvantaged and disenfranchised, where they can receive the help that they need. So my next question for you is, what personal values, let's just stay, close to that, and principles do you hold most dear, and how do they influence your decisions and your strategies when you're thinking of what's important and what should come next?
So, Doc, I'm grateful for this, but when I begin to talk about my personal values, I
Mm-hmm.
get emotional
Mm-hmm.
because growing up at a very just after college,
Mm-hmm.
what we call the senior high school here, I left the four walls of my parents, my
Mm-hmm.
dad, my mom. I left them, traveled to the urban area just
Mm-hmm.
to find a life for myself so I could also help my family. So I left the village, I left my community, my immediate community,
Mm-hmm.
traveled about 250 kilometers to the southern part of Ghana, which I live here currently in Ashanti region, Kumasi,
Mm-hmm.
to be precise.
Mm-hmm.
That is where I continue my education and then worked for the past 15 years in Ashanti region. And
Mm-hmm.
just before I came from my community, from my mom, from my dad, I held certain values.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I talk about them, I give
Mm-hmm.
glory to God
Yes.
because they kept me true, even in the absence of my dad,
Mm-hmm.
in the absence of my mom, which I felt it was like some kind of freedom. I could have done anything I wanted. I could have lived the life I couldn't have lived with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Yet these personal values kept me. They motivated me. They kept me going. And that is
Mm-hmm.
how come today I find myself as a lucky one to have made the impact and continuously make the impact I'm craving for. And first among these values I hold dear, I have numerous of these, but one
Mm-hmm.
I've seen so far that has helped me is commitment and integrity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have an unwavering dedication to every cause, everything that I set to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always committed. And my immediate boss would tell me that, look, you are the game changer because ever since I've known you, you
Mm-hmm.
set yourself tasks and you get them accomplished. You are
Mm-hmm.
committed.
Mm-hmm.
And this one person, you find me come to work early enough, and
Mm-hmm.
until I complete the task, I'm not off.
Mm-hmm.
So I put in extra work, committed. And
Yes.
and what has motivated me is that I believe that for every commitment there is a
Mm-hmm.
reward,
Yes.
and that has kept me going. So
Mm-hmm.
I rise through the ranks at a very younger uh, age within the work I found myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yet people will see me by my age and think that no, this guy is just a small boy.
Mm-hmm.
But until you meet me on the tax, then you get to know, no, he has really gone through the mill, and I know
Yes.
exactly what I'm about. So
Mm-hmm.
I believe commitment with a level
Mm-hmm.
of integrity. That is, if your boss, if your work leave everything in your care, in your custody,
Mm-hmm.
you account it as they've left it to you, and
Yes.
be too open, be fair, be
Mm-hmm.
specific on the tax that is assigned to you without having to cut corners.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have to do this, I try every means possible to do. If I'm unable to do, I come to my boss. Boss, this I can't do it because of ABC reasons. But I don't cut corners. I don't do
Mm-hmm.
things that myself I feel these are against my Christian values background.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was brought up by
Mm-hmm.
Christian parents, and I
Mm-hmm.
hold that in dear because that has safeguarded me. And
Yes.
you know, you can never talk of commitment with a hard work.
Mm-hmm. Hard
And with
work.
yes, I believe that I have always exhibited this value, that to everything that is said before me, no matter how tedious it is, I put in
Mm-hmm.
extra effort to get it executed.
Yes.
And I do a lot of consultation. I do a lot of consultation, even with things that I know. I always want to seek a second opinion, a third opinion. Then, before I implement, you see that level of excellence,
Mm-hmm.
because I believe I could do it.
Yes.
But there are people who are more experienced than I am. So, being a hard worker doesn't necessarily mean the task is set before you, you go execute it without having to get any clue or whatever. I do a lot
Yes.
of consultation, and this, the kind of consultation I do gives me that leverage to be able to execute the work and do it properly. So whoever my boss is, whoever has assigned me the task, at the end of the day is happy that look,
Yes.
I've given this guy this task. He has even gone ahead to add A, B, C in addition, even though I never requested for that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the strengths I have possessed all this while. And I believe that has truncated into or
Mm-hmm.
transcended into the political life I have acquired over these few years. So
Yes.
it's something that I look to doing more of this in my journey as a politician. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing I see myself possess is empathy.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
empathize with everyone. I don't know why, but all the time I feel like the golden rule in life: do
Mm-hmm.
unto others as you wish they do unto you. So, whenever I'm confronted with any situation, the first question I ask myself: should
Mm-hmm.
I be at the receiving end? Would I be happy?
Yes.
Would I have been so happy about what is going on? And look,
Mm-hmm.
this is the part of our world where most people do not have this. They don't care about what happens. And gradually, some of these things are creeping into our society where it takes people who fear the Lord, who fear Christ,
Mm-hmm.
to have
Mm-hmm.
exhibit this kind of attribute, because
Yes.
it's about the money. It's about what is
Mm-hmm.
in it for them. They don't care about what happens to you, their
Mm-hmm.
brother, their
Yes.
sister. They don't care. But
They
for
don't.
me, I hold it dear because all the time I see myself have that deeper connection and relationship to create that mood that somebody
Mm-hmm.
will love to be with me. In
Yes.
fact, if it is a penny I have left,
Mm-hmm.
I want to share with you
Mm-hmm.
than to tell you that go, I don't have it. That is who I am. I'm always in the position to say, how would I have felt if I
Mm-hmm.
was treated this way, or I have been treated the other way? And that is what is keeping me. I have loyalty, I have fairness.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever I've come across working with, I believe that that
Mm-hmm.
person should come to understand that my boss is not treating me unfairly.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If there
Mm-hmm.
is the opportunity to see family,
Mm-hmm.
do it. But
Yes.
don't mingle or don't meddle personal stuff when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to work.
Yes.
And they call me the strict boss. It's not like I'm straight. I
Mm-hmm.
believe you come clean with me, just
Mm-hmm.
like I would do with my boss.
Yes.
If I have any situation, I confront you. This
Yes.
is my problem. I believe
Mm-hmm.
let's do this. But I don't want people who feel they are smarter than the boss, they are
Mm-hmm.
smarter than whoever they are with, and they want to
Mm-hmm.
cut corners. I get so embittered with that. I
Mm-hmm.
believe each and everyone should be treated fairly.
Mm-hmm.
And the loyalty aspect is that whoever I've started the journey with, let us go
Mm-hmm.
straight.
Yes.
Don't forsake me in the middle of the road. Likewise,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't do that to you.
Yes.
And I will not want to hurt you. I will not want to be the first person to hurt you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. In our
Yes.
relationship, I will not want to. So I will do everything possible to mend whatever
Mm-hmm.
broken piece we have. I will
Yes.
mend it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the scripture says, if possible, live
Mm-hmm.
peaceably with all men.
Peaceably.
Yes, with all
Yes.
men.
With all
Yes, so that
men.
is, yeah, that is what keeps me going. That in
Yes.
as much as I believe that I am with
Mm-hmm.
you, I
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't allow you to keep complaining that this man is a bad man, he does this. As soon as I get to know I've wronged you, hi doc, please forgive me.
Mm-hmm. Please forgive me.
Then
Mm-hmm.
I explain, I did this on purpose because of ABC. Then
Mm-hmm.
it's like you also have a clear mind that no, Emmanuel or Lord never meant to
Mm-hmm.
harm me. He rather did this for something else. But
Yes.
I would not want to be that
Mm-hmm.
like unprofessional, unethical,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes feel like being rude. No, no, no,
Yes.
no. Yeah. So
Yes.
that is who I am,
Wow.
and
Yes.
these are my personal values. Yeah.
And I picked that up and everything. You're very passionate when you're sharing about who you are and the things that are important to you. So many times in today's world, we get very mixed messages on what to expect from our leaders, those that are serving us. As our representatives. So it's always just, I just get a great feeling whenever I speak with someone who serves in the political arena, where they're saying, yeah, loyalty, integrity, those kind of things, hard work, they're important to me. Those are great values that we all need to possess. And then I like that you have that, because the kids always joke with me, but I have that where I tell them I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give in until I get it done. And so it's a great policy. It has always worked for me, and I know it has worked greatly for you. Here's a question that I have, and I'm sure our listeners would love to get an answer to. How do you balance the demands of political life while maintaining a healthy personal and family life? You don't have to go into deep detail about your family, but because that's your personal life. But how do you balance it all?
Well, I'm blessed to have quite an understanding and a loving woman
Mm-hmm.
as a
Mm-hmm.
wife.
Yes,
I'm blessed
you're blessed.
because yes,
Mm-hmm.
this journey started without me knowing I was going into politics.
Mm-hmm.
As a young man, a banker,
Mm-hmm.
risen through to become a branch manager,
Mm-hmm.
living a very good life.
Mm-hmm.
At least I could afford anything my family wants,
Mm-hmm.
including vacations
Mm-hmm.
we do have together as a family.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, this gentleman says he's going into politics. But I sat with my woman, we thought through, we prayed about it.
Mm-hmm.
And her fear is that in politics, there are so many women, they will
Mm-hmm.
admire you, they will take advantage. I said, look, but I know you. She concluded by saying, but I know you.
Mm-hmm.
I know you.
Mm-hmm.
I pray you remain the way you are.
Mm-hmm.
And this has kept us going.
Yes, and that's
This has
correct.
kept us going.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we may have our own issues, but
Mm-hmm.
there's one fundamental thing that she
Yes.
has been a pillar by me.
Mm-hmm.
She's been the greatest of all support that I've received.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's so difficult out there. I
Mm-hmm.
come back or I call her
Mm-hmm.
and she's comforting me. She's saying,
Mhm.
we knew this is part of the journey. So
Mhm.
take heart. The Lord is going to provide. The Lord will see you
Mhm.
through. And this is how we've been. So I've tried as much as possible not to overburden myself with the political aspect,
Mhm.
leaving the family behind.
Yes. Yes.
We have had our life in the city,
Mhm.
and my community is far from where I live. I
Yes.
am a parliamentary candidate, and
Okay.
per the demands of my work, I need to be
Mhm.
at the constituency every now and then.
Mhm.
I came from the constituency about 3 weeks ago. I spent 4 days, and I
Mhm.
was back in the constituency.
Mhm.
So I kind of spend a lot of time in the constituency, more than with the family. But I
Okay.
try as much as possible, make time, talk to my family.
Yes.
Before they go to bed, I ask, have you done your homework? Has mommy
Mhm.
helped you with your assignment? Has this? And, she doesn't have that energy to be shouting. So she will
Mhm.
threaten and say, if you don't do your work, I'm going to report you to daddy. Daddy is going.
That
Daddy,
works.
though I'm kind of the scary one. So if
Mhm.
daddy comes, he's
That
going to punish
works.
you. So, but that is how she keeps the family going, and they're
Yes.
happy. When I'm leaving, I call all of them. We pray together. I tell them I'm
Mhm.
leaving. I'm going to the
Mhm.
constituency. I'm going to Yeji. I'm
Mhm.
going to my hometown, and they're
Mhm.
happy for me that they want to
Mhm.
join me one of these days on their
Mhm.
vacation so that they
Mhm.
can see what I'm going through. But
Mhm.
she has been very, very, very supportive. And one thing I
Mhm.
also do is I also assign roles, assign tasks.
Mhm.
I do it in such a way that whoever is competent to handle what is
Mhm.
given the opportunity to handle. Once I
Mhm.
sit back, evaluate whatever they are doing, and give
Mhm.
leadership and give
Yes.
directions. Let's do
Mhm.
this. I believe we do this, it will be better. And per the party structure, we have constituency executives.
Mhm.
And these executives, in their various capacities, are also made to manage the affairs of the party.
Yes.
So we have a youth wing, and
Mhm.
there's somebody in charge of that. So all the
Okay.
young guys, all
Mhm.
the youth within the constituency,
Mhm.
somebody is making sure that my policy is getting
Okay.
to them.
Mhm.
And
That's
that is,
wonderful.
yeah, the kind of decentralization the
Mhm.
party has put in place. And what
Yes.
I have tried doing is to ensure that all these structures are working, all these
Mhm.
structures are being followed, just not to overburden myself having to run here and there all the time, because
Yes.
it is not easy managing a voter population of over 54,000.
Mhm.
Yeah, over 50,000.
Yes.
It's not easy
That is-
having
no.
to yeah. So I make use of my constituency executives,
Mhm.
and I also liaise peaceably with the opinion leaders, the chiefs, the
Mhm.
stakeholders within the community. So
Yes.
some of the time, I use their gatherings
Mhm.
to also leverage on my political issues,
Yes.
so that I wouldn't have to be running all the time across
All
without
around.
having to do anything specific. So with my
Mhm.
family balance, I deploy much of a decentralization approach.
Mhm.
I assign tasks
Mhm.
to those I feel can help me. And since my wife is also understanding, even if
Mhm.
there are emergencies,
Mhm.
she understands how
Mhm.
it goes. And I'm
Yes.
always grateful to God for such a wonderful
Mhm.
family I have. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
because that can be quite demanding. I was listening to everything that you were, where you were sharing. One of the things
yeah.
that I like, people don't realize that when there's a lot that's being demanded of you, those that are in leadership positions, it's so important that you have those that can keep the home front going. That that you have that person there that says, "Hey, they're cheering you on." And they're saying, yeah, you can make it happen. We're
Sure.
here. We have it
Yeah.
together. I'm a wife myself, so I can understand that in support of my own husband and the many endeavors that he does. It can be hard sometimes, but it's great when you know that you have that person that's there that can make it happen for you. And then I heard you say that, you really trust those that are in leadership in the different areas to do their part that leads, and it kind of helps with the whole of coming to a conclusion, so you're not running around basically like a chicken with your head cut off
Yeah,
all
yeah,
over, because you said you're here, so you're not where that is, you're away, and there's different things. I heard chieftains, you talked about chieftains, you said cauldrons, correct? Did
yeah,
I say it
yeah,
correctly?
yeah.
And so that means that there's different levels. And so it's so important that all those levels are working. And so I'm one of those that go, okay, as I'm listening to someone else talk, I'm saying, how can I, integrate this? So I really like the approach that you delegate. That's the word, delegate. It's so important. A lot of times as leaders, we have to have our hands on everything. And when you do that, you can't be as effective. So it's great to hear that you trust those, that you say, hey, this is your assignment. You trust them to get it done. And that's so very important. And those kind of things I feel will continue to help you to transcend and to grow in other areas, because you can focus on those things, trusting and knowing that those other things are being taken care of. I'm
So
looking here at my list here. So, what is an unconventional or innovative policy idea you believe could significantly improve your community or country, and why?
this is going through this question. I
Mm-hmm.
find it very interesting because, uh, you know, when you come to Ghana,
Mm-hmm.
we are bedeviled with a lot of issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I have found an unconventional way to get these issues resolved.
Mm-hmm.
I see that uh, I have launched a policy in my community,
Mm-hmm.
and that is Pru East to the world.
Mm-hmm. I
Pru
like that.
East
Pru East
to
to the
the world.
world. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't been to Ghana,
Yes.
but I'm not sure you've read about Pru East.
Mm-hmm. I have it.
Yes. So, in my reign, in
Mm-hmm.
my coming into office as a member of parliament, that is one core thing I would want to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
That around the globe, people will wish if they are traveling to Ghana, Pro East should be part of their list of places they want to visit.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is the only way we can bring the people closer to government in solving our own problems, our
Mm-hmm.
own challenges.
Yes.
Because look, as I told you, we have a very, very high acreage of arable lands,
Mm-hmm.
good for planting of leguminous crops, maize,
Mm-hmm.
beans.
Mm-hmm.
Talk of all the legumes that could even be exported,
Mm-hmm.
that could be processed to do something that people in America will want to have, people in other continents will want to have. Why don't we leverage on the arable land we have as African, as Ghanaians, as
Mm-hmm.
Pru East constituents, so that we adopt a commercial approach of having to use our arable lands for something better. We are
Yes.
purely persistent farmers.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we farm what we are able to eat,
Mm-hmm.
because we lack the technology, we lack the infrastructure, we
Mm-hmm.
lack the investment to go
Uh-huh.
into these areas for commercial purposes.
Yes.
So having land Pro East to the world, we are telling the world that if you want a place to farm, if you
Mm-hmm.
want a place for agribusiness, come to Pro East.
Yes.
This is what we have, and we leverage on it for you, because our chiefs, the laws regarding land tenure system, whatever it is, will be so much open,
Mm-hmm.
in an open discussion, because we are attracting investors to our community. And we are rather looking at making things much more easier for our investors to love to being there. Growing up in the 80s and early 90s, I had some American citizens who were in my community. And you know what they were doing? They were doing honey.
Oh.
Yeah, doing honey for them, like on a commercial basis.
Yes.
And they were even exporting some to America. Honey.
Wow.
That
Honey,
was that.
honey bees.
Yes. So bees, they were doing the bees themselves. So they had a very large area of land where you will see the bees being kept in their places so that they could make the honey for them. And I find this as very, very interesting. So I'm using this your medium, this your platform, to also tell the numerous viewers out there that Pru East, Yeji is the main district capital. We have arable lands. They should
Yes.
please come to us. Let us think together how we can solve our issues.
Yes.
You
I
know,
think that's
Ghana,
wonderful.
yeah, food issues are not much of a problem to us, but we lack the technology, the
Yes.
know-how within my area, which can help us do a proper cultivation on a large scale. Look, we have the largest man-made lake with the largest island
Wow.
at my area. Yet, you know the only thing we're able to do, we're able to fish, smoke
Wow.
the fish, and give it out for our market women to sell. That is all we've been able to do with that. And I have launched Pru East to the world so we can add value to the fish we cultivate, we bring from the lake.
Yes.
Then we can, our people within that enclave can also make money for themselves. It is like we are doing the whole farming, yet we are very poor. We are getting impoverished day by day because we are unable to add value to whatever we are processing.
Yes.
Whatever we are cultivating, we are not able to add value to it. I am bent on doing this together with the many people who love Pru East. Most of our constituents, our brothers and sisters, they are living in the diaspora. And we are calling on them for us to come together and then build our community, because that is the only motherland we have. Wherever they are, should anything happen, they want to come back to the house. They want to come back home. So we are
Yes.
calling on them that they should come back. Let us develop our community together. And the only way we can do this is to get our place for the youth to work. Because with a large acreage of land, it will serve as a source of employment to the many youth who are lavishing around without any form of work. And by so doing, we are going to make agric a very attractive sector for the youth to get engaged. I know America, with the population you have, it is that sector that is keeping the country.
Yes.
Because food must be on the table every day. And
Every
the
day.
farmers, yes, the farmers come because they do commercial farming. So we are calling on the whole population in the world that please help Pru East, come and let's see how we can put our heads together and make it work.
Yes.
So we are
And
calling all people in the diaspora. So that is the
I agree with
conventional
you.
way we are going to solve our many issues. And you know, our issue is an issue for the country. And I believe the next government, the NDC government, led by His Excellency, the former President, John Dramani Mahama, I believe agric is another sector we are going to launch so deep into it to solve the many challenges we have with regards to youth unemployment. And
Yes.
once we grow it in a broader perspective, we'll get our youth into very reputable professions in the agric sector, because agric has a very wide value chain,
Yes.
and we are going to make it work. So that
Yes.
is something I believe, an unconventional way that can get us through it.
Yes. We'll be able to get it to happen. I'm one of those people that truly believe that your message is worth being heard, is worth being shared around the world for those that are viewing on today. You know, today's Black Executive is one of the magazines. It's a premier magazine that's been out now for, oh my goodness, at least 8 years now, and just so excited that Lord Boam will be on the cover here, and we'll be able to share all these questions that you heard today. Guess what? We're going to have to answer all those questions for you so that you can read and that you can share with others. We want to be inspirational. We don't want to just have you on the air. We want to be inspirational with helping you share this around the world. So we want to make sure that we're partnering with you to help make this happen, and that we're sharing this message with all those that we know. My father, when I was growing up as a little girl in Alabama, he said it takes all of us working together to get it done. It's not about you or me, it's about us serving each other. I truly believe that we are all servant leaders, and we've been put here to help and serve each other. And so I'm listening to what you're saying when you say, okay, you know, we have the fish, we bring it to the marketplace, but that's almost as far as it goes, because we're lacking all the other pieces of commerce and things to make it happen where it can be spread around the world, where we can have these resources and the finances coming into the community to make it better for them. And so those that are listening in, hey, Lord Boam will be here in Washington, D.C. for the Juneteenth celebration. He will be down on the ellipse. That's a great time to come down. It'll be thousands of people down there to come and hear, and you share that message with everyone. And then guess what, guys? Don't just hear a message. So many of us will listen, but we won't gear up and get busy to help anyone that's not me and mine. We've got to get past that mentality and understand that this world is about all of us. What happens to you affects me. And if we can understand that as a whole, there'll be a change. And so I'm just looking forward to meeting you in person, and to us partnering with you, to us encouraging others to partner more, to see what we can do to really, really advocate for change there and to help make it happen. I'm looking here now, Lord Boam, at my list to make sure I haven't left out anything before we prepare to close out here. I tell you, everything I have to tell you, everything that I read online about you, it was so positive. So many times when you go and you're doing your research, and you, as a reporter, you come back to interview a person, you go, oh my goodness, I won't cover that part. Oh Lordy, but I did. There was nothing like that, and that was remarkable to me. I've got to be honest with you, and what a blessing that you really are. You're not just talking the talk, but you're walking the walk, and that makes a difference. And so I applaud you for that and your service
Thank
and what
you.
you're doing
Thank
for
you.
your community there. And I just look forward to working with you. For those that are tuned in today, you'll be able once again to see this whole interview tonight at 5 p.m. on LV Network. So before we close, Lord Boam, is there anything else that you would like to say or share?
So,
Lord Boam.
so, so, Dr. Tony, I'm so
Mhm,
grateful. But before we close the curtains, I want to
mhm,
say this. We are in leadership
mhm,
because God has assigned us to lead people.
mhm,
I am accountable to my people and to God as a
mhm,
steward. I believe every step I take, I am accountable.
mhm,
Some of us haven't been in these positions before. I have not been a member of parliament before,
mhm,
but I am ascending to this high office so to help my people. I'm open. Pru East, we are equally open for
mhm,
whosoever want to assist in any form. We are I believe we are touching lives, we are changing lives.
Yes.
Government cannot do it all alone because we've lost it as we speak. The current government, everybody in Ghana will tell you the kind of hardships we're going through, we've lost it. But there's still hope because we have some of us young people leading this constituency. And we believe that we cannot leave the challenges of our age to the central government only to solve for us. And the only thing we can do is to come in partnership with people like you and people listening to us. Now let's come together and get situations solved. We have women, we have young girls who are daily being shifted from where they are supposed to be. Every day people are pushed down the poverty line. It's not because we are very hesitant to work, but it's just because we are not getting the direction as to how things should be done.
Yes.
I believe I am one of the solutions God is using in this end time within my area to make sure that we find hope for the youth who are feeling hopeless. We find hope for our mothers who are feeling there's no one to save us. I believe when the mantle fell on Moses to go back and save the people of Israel, he gave so many reasons why he is not qualified to do that. But I keep telling myself that if the Lord appoints you and ordains you to go out there, he equips you. And
Yes, he does.
look, it is just a wonder having to even meet you for this interview. And I believe God orchestrates things in his own dimension to save his people. So I am a vessel, just like you are a vessel God is using to touch so many lives across the world. So I have nothing more to say. Yes, I might be a politician, but do not see me in the lenses of a politician in Africa, as people have already done the narrative. We as young men coming up with innovative ideas and solutions to make the people who we are leading make their life better. But we cannot do it all by ourselves. And that is why I'm saying that please, whoever is listening, watching us, whoever happens to come in contact with Lord Emmanuel Kwaku Boam today, I believe that God is sending this message to you on purpose, that we would be able to touch so many lives out there. And I believe coming to Ghana, to Pru East, you will see the story will not be different from what you are going to see. And I'll be proud to have most of you to be introduced to Pru East to the world. And that is the mantra we have launched. Thank you so much.
And I'll have to make sure that my husband and I put that on our travel list so that we can come there. I was scheduled to come, but we had the COVID that came around, and so because of that, plans got changed. But I still want to make that happen. I'm in my lifetime here, but because we've met, I want to make it happen even sooner than that. I want to come and I want to see so that I can help be a part of the change. I don't want to just be someone that talks about it. I want to be someone with the resources that I have and the things that I do to help share that message where a change can occur. Once again, thank you so much. And remember, everyone that's tuned in, that you can view it again on LB Network. If you have Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV streaming services, across TV, you can add LB Network as a channel and you'll be able to see this. It's an exclusive. We have it only on LB Network. And so once again, thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to you being a part of our viewing family. I will see you, sir, on next week. Until then, you continue to be blessed of the Lord with all that you do.
Thank you. I'm
All right.
grateful. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you. Thank you. God
Good
bless you.
evening. God bless
Yeah, good
you.
evening.
Good evening.
Wow.